Hello, everyone. Good morning from us here to wherever you may be. This is Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire, and this is the Candlepin Pro Series here on Candlepin Bowling Network. My name is Greg Gouillart, and I'm alongside Kevin Burns today. Good morning, almost afternoon, Kevin.
Well, same to you, Greg.
Korey Cooper on lane 29. We're tracking right here. James Humes on lane 28. We'll follow the bowlers as they rotate around in this first of 5 qualifying strings.
There's a strike already, right out of the gate.
And James Humes, Ryan Family Amusements Millis, as I recall, gets a strike. Certainly bold with him on the league there. Korey Cooper out of the state of Maine wearing the Stars and Strikes shirt out of South Paris, Maine. He starts with 9. The format is 5 strings, top partnership totals. Advanced, top 24 men, and it says TBA in the description, top 6 women in their own separate tournament taking place concurrently.
And you can find that with Paul Grant as well.
Yep.
Oh, there's a Cleary by Cooper. Leads
Yep.
four horsemen on the right side.
What many call the 4 horsemen and that inner pin. Hume still filling the strike. The lanes are not attached. You'll have to be prudent about the ball for ball play. He gets an 8 fill, 10 plus the value of those first 2 balls. You see it there.
Oh, a little light. A little light on the head pin.
Candlepin's one of the fussiest versions of 10 pin out there, probably the fussiest one, in fact. You get 3 balls per frame. If you're new to the game, it's a great pleasure to have you here. 3 balls per frame, and any pins knocked down on the plate stay on the plate and can be used as live wood, which only sounds easier, but just because the ball is smaller doesn't mean this sport is any easier. Cooper of 9s.
So I do want to explain one thing. We're covering 28-29. 28 is going to move to 29. Lane 29 is going to move to lane 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I will, on the head pin, at least broke up the split.
Yep, 3-6-10. Humes on his second ball now. None of these bowlers regular Pro Series bowlers. I interrupted your thought, excuse me.
And I believe lane 16 is moving to lane 23.
Nice shot, Cooper. Those 3 pins go intact. Bowlers go 5 boxes at a time. So
for point standing wise, Ryan Southall is 1 point shy from being in the playoffs, which are in 2 months at Ezra Lanes. A month from today, we're at Timberlanes, covering, I believe that's a singles tournament.
Singles knockout, and that will be the final regular event of the year. For complete information, we'll try to recite it as often as we can during the broadcast, but go to Facebook's The Candlepin Pro Series page, and there's more information in the YouTube description to point you, hopefully, in the right directions.
But I do want to mention one.
Oh, that's a great split there. Split spare, James Humes, and we're going to get another look at that 3-1.
I didn't see it, so it's a good thing. So,
yeah, well, thankfully, that's the magic of replay. Watch this 3-1 conversion on lane 28.
Put the ball right where he had to. What a shot. That's a nice shot. So, folks, if you are interested in looking at the scores live as they happen.
Phil's at 3.
You can go into Candlepin Chat, type in Andrew Badero's name, and there's a link to the Cubica system.
Actually, it's in the YouTube description, more simply.
Oh, well, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
So you can go into the Cubica and you can click on it and you can watch.
Yes, a nice check mark.
You can watch all the Candlepin action that takes place here at Leda today or whenever you want. I know I do that.
Yep. He was tough there, 2 mark 52, and we're going to get another look at this check mark. That replay box really needs to move, but watch the lane there, and you see it go.
Beautiful shot. Anytime the check mark goes, that's a good way to sit. 54 after.
54 in a ball. Yep.
Yeah.
Now over to Chris Lafreniere and Will Damon. I'll confirm, I believe that Stars and Strikes team was one of the international teams. Damon, good mix off the head pin, 1-2-4. Chris Lafreniere out of Western Massachusetts. We saw him at a Candlepins for Cancer fundraiser in Agawam. He's got the 210.
Even just off the mark.
Yeah.
So in this round, we have Sherelle Nealon, Faye Sawyer, Brittany Underwood, Amy Tooby, and Allie Popper and Lori Lewis bowling on the other side. Paul Grant is covering them.
Yes.
Josh Daly is leading the pack in points.
Points are awarded for high finishing in both qualifying and in the playoffs round. So even though the playoffs can be swingy, one-string matches coming up in the knockout round. The 5-string qualifier still goes a long way towards determining those points as well. Deep finishes and high qualifying.
Oh, look at this leaf. 7-10 split. You have a piece of wood against the lip, and one that's perpendicular. And I don't know if I would have played it there, but it seemed like the better choice.
It's so wedged up in there. Would you have gone more to one side then, Kevin?
I probably would have gone for the cap and see what happens or try and red line it. Yeah, he played the cap. Nothing when that was going to go. So
that's his third ball. Lafreniere, this is his second ball coming up here. 3, 4, and 6. So Paul's video is buffering. Yeah, it's tough to get a good Wi-Fi connection. I think even here you'll find there's a tough connection. But I am recording this as well, and especially where we want to see more of the action we've been missing, then we'll be happy to re-upload it later as necessary. That's pretty well pinned out for Chris, and he gets a 9. Partnership totals are what determine it. Top 24 men advance, top 6 women advance. That's now announced. Ooh, right down the middle. One of the harshest shots in this game. The 1, 5, and 9 taken out by Damon.
No, the worst shot in the game is when you take out the 1-5.
That's true.
That's
huge hammer Lafreniere. He's got a strike. We'll take a look at that in a second. We'll take a look at that right now as hello? Where's my replay buffer gone? Okay, I'll have to look into that. It's a tough box for Damon. I'm going to try one more time to look, but I think my replay buffer... Oh, I see what's happened. It's vanished. That's hilarious. Why did it do that?
Damon on that pocket. Oh, Lisa Halfwich is standing. Oh, boy. That's the 2-8. Piece of wood way to the left. Way to the right. He's not going to use that.
Yep.
Nice shot. In 9 on Lafreniere's strike as he leads the 7-10 split. Will takes out the front pin. You know, I say this all the time with the half twist. It's a lot easier punching the 2 pins when you have a full rack than it is when you have just those 2 left. There's a 9.
Yeah. I'll have to all right, let me try one more time to fix my replay buffer. If I can't do it, then I'll give up here, but reset transfer. Very strange. Huh. Okay.
Back-to-back 7-10 splits for Chris Lafreniere.
Yeah.
Will Damon has a 5-9-10 piece of wood against a 5. Oh, what a shot! That was pretty.
Yeah. Apologies, my replay buffer is freaking out here, but that's a great shot there. Low on the wood to sweep the 5-9 into the 10.
Oh, I made that quite a few times. I mean, I made it high before I made it low, I made it clean once, but that's one of those hit and miss.
Yeah. Sorry for the difficulties on the second stream here, but I can only do so much from this position here. We'll try and get that worked out as best as we can. Korey Cooper on a spare fill is 7. He's got a tough split here, and these pins are relatively on the new side here at Leda, and we've seen people score high with them before, but like any quintessential candle pin, it's so tough.
They're still getting broken in. Nice bid, though. Try and bang something out that sidewall.
Which begs a question, should they be optimum condition coming off the rack, or is it nice?
Oh, nice shot, Diamond.
Diamonds are tough, only 1 in 4 chance. Humes with his 3rd mark.
You were asking about the pins?
Should they be like the optimum condition coming off the rack, or is it nice that they break in here over the course of, say, a little bit of time as well, even if that results in tougher scoring? That's not all the end-all be-all. People like the challenge at times, too.
I personally don't care as long as they're legal and they're not made the wrong way.
Do it properly.
Yeah, exactly. I know Garland's been having problems with making them, but they're like, I know when Harvard just reopened, they got all new pins, and I talked to Skeeter Bryce, the manager of mechanics there, and he heard about the same problem that I heard. So when he was putting those in, he made sure that they fit in the tubes the right way. But
pretty good 10 for Cooper there. He nearly made Chester Cove's favorite, the 4 and 2 washout.
So it's like I said, if they break in, as time goes on, they're going to break in. I mean, these pins, another half was just standing, but this time
double pins.
But this time more favorable wood. Oh, way off. Almost lost his balance there.
Humes has wood in the middle here. James's try.
Wow, went right around it.
And Cooper, he went across the face of the head pin, and that's why the ball didn't drive through the 5 and 9. Still harsh all the same.
Now, I said this before. I've seen a lot of great bowls blow out of here. Chris Bovia being one of them. Sean McKinley being another. Steve Plant. And the list goes on. But it doesn't, new pins do not affect those guys. Because to them, it's just like bowling on a regular pin that's been broken in. It does not matter.
It was 5 and 1 this time. Cooper, right down the middle.
Another split. Nice bid, though.
Yeah, apparently too thin on the 3-pin. Men are looking for scores of about 110s, 120s. That's a good score. Cooper going to be struggling for this on the 3rd ball. He's got his 2 marks at least. Matches are not head-to-head. We're just qualifying, covering 2 of the qualifying lanes. Can you do that, please? I'm sorry. 8 apiece. If you need me to... Yeah. Sorry, folks. We see what you're saying about Paul's stream crashing there. We were hoping to have a second stream going, so we'll see if we can get that set up. Thank you, Nico. James sabers right through the rack, the 3, 5, and 8. Cooper. Down goes the 8, 2, 4, 7, and 10. There's wood available, so a chance. 2 pins, the toughest one to take out. Because now it really separates the rack into 3 lonely islands for Humes. Cooper, no dice on the split. To the right. And a 4. A tough finish there, but only the first string of 5. And you see the finals there. This is Will Damon. His fill is 4. Had a few that have gotten away there, but that fill gives him the chance to get back in it. Chris Lafreniere, the setback leave we call this one, 4, 5, and 7. Not everyone calls it that, but ever since Korey Smith gave us the name, we just couldn't help ourselves. That annoying piece of wood in front of those 2 pins. He'll probably play the diagonal one just to the right of the 5 like that for his 2nd mark. Damon escapes for 10 on this one. First of 5 qualifying strings, top 24 men and top 6 women will advance to a single elimination knockout bracket later on. All matches there will be 1 string long. Chris's spare fill, a fine one, 7. Triangle number 2 is the leave. Damon across the face of the head pin again, and he's got the 1, 2, 4, and 9, similar to that Bob Caleri leave we were mentioning earlier. 4 horsemen and an inner pin. Lafreniere no good on the spare. Damon still has a ball to go. And 10 for Lafreniere. So good to see you all out there. Chuck, Ben, Wendy, Pappas, David, Casey, McCool, good to see you. And James. And, of course, Nico. Nico, our hardworking social media manager. Chat room moderator, behave yourselves, please. Everyone says they have the best fans. But I fully believe it. 6 and 10, that's an easy one. A nice first ball and good cover by Lafreniere. He's got a good string working with 3 marks. And notice the great pinning he's got going as well. Even though he's had 1, 2, 3, 4 splits, 5 of them, in fact, he's still overcome. Damon in the unlinked string over yonder. Bring Candlepin to the northwest? Hell yeah, that'd be awesome. Candlepin currently played in New England and Eastern Canada at the moment, the provinces of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. We're confined to the northeast for now. Finding your spare field 5. Damon, that's a good hit, one of his best, except the corners still stay full. Oh, that wood got stopped up there. Otherwise, Chris might have made that one. Will Damon has had 4 splits in this string right now. That's part of the reason he's a bit underwater at the moment. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. He's only got 1 10 box as well. Say what you will about that. And playing the cards are dealt. But he is off to certainly an unlucky start as well. Dave, another Millis bowler. Good to see you as well. Yeah, 7/10s are everywhere, aren't they, Tyler? The Damon, though, has his 10-pin now. Lafreniere, one of his similar leaves, 4 horsemen and a 9-pin. Let's see, that's off the foul line. That always disrupts the break of the ball. You see John Winchell on lane 27. We'll see him next, along with Jay Simoneau. That'll be a great New Hampshire state connection. Yeah. So a 9 for Damon. Up. And third ball coming up for Lafreniere. Sorry, Kevin, I turned your mic on before you were ready for that.
That's all right.
Escapes with the 9th pin there, and raise your microphone up if you will, please. And
okay,
we see that. Chris Lafreniere, 118, a great start. 3 marks and 3 pins left. And Will Damon, a tough start with the 1 mark and the many pins left. And there we have it. So that's both boards there. We're going to wait for action to resume on action to conclude on the other lanes, and we will get started with string number 2 in just a moment. We will be right back. I need to do some tech work as well. See you in a moment. All right, we're going to get started in just a moment here, folks. We'll be right with you. While we do that, I'm just going to test to see if my instant replay buffer is there. I'm just going to do a shameless tech check on the air. Hey, that's looking pretty good. Okay. Beautiful setting of balls in the return. Okay. You get the point. Jason. You know, you got to, when you're your own producer and everything, you got to do what you got to do, and we appreciate your patience, folks. But hi again. This is string number 2 of 5 here, as you'll see here on Candlepin Bowling Network.
I do want to mention that I know I wasn't around much during the first string, because I'm trying to do tech work for Paul and all that, but apparently I think it's where Paul's located in the bowling alley too. And it's just not a good place for Wi-Fi, because even when I'm here doing my leagues, it's a bad lane. It's a bad lane. But
tough to deal with there. But
it is.
We'll get started soon. There was apparently a bit of a technical issue with one of the lanes here, which is always impressive how well maintained the lanes are overall. 36 lanes here at Leda Lanes. Formerly even more until Leda's Lighthouse powered down to really focus on the main house proper here in Nashua. But we're ready to get going again. James Humes and Jay Simoneau.
James Humes started off with a 97, which is a little under by his standards, but oh, what a hit.
310 we see here. Make sure that's really aimed at you. There we go. Wood is lined up here. Humes delivers, then the wood moves. That's fine. And unfortunately, the wood goes right in front.
I don't think he thought that was going to happen. Simoneau starts off with the spare. So Brittany Underwood started with a 94. Amy Doobie started with a 95. Yeah, the scores are a little low on the female side.
You can check out the scores as well by following the link in the description to the Cubica online score. 247-10 Simoneau. He's got a 6 fill. Humes bundle of 5, 3, 5, 6, 9, 10. Hello, Todd. Good to see you in chat. Good to see you all as well. Simoneau just flying away the 2-pin. Humes, that's not going to come back for the 3. Goodness, he made that parallelogram. That was impressive in its own right. Unfortunately, it's not the parallel pin leave you want to make in this situation. That's 3 object pins for Simoneau, by the way, and unfortunately he gets stuck with 8. Back-to-back 10s. Not the best look at that, I'm afraid, but...
Oh, just missed it.
Yep.
Just missed it. It fell right behind it, but a good 10 out of it, though. Boy.
Yeah, that's the problem when the entry angle's not right in the pocket there.
That's just brutal.
A lot of candlepin bowlers will just emphasize hitting the head pin come what may. The problem is the pins do have a fussiness about them. Yeah, okay, Cocchi.
This is what I say.
Ooh, spare.
This is what I call a Leda Lanes leave right here. He did the right thing. He got the right triangle out, but now you got to deal with the setback. And you don't have a decent piece of wood to help you convert it.
Yeah.
You go right through the hoop. Nothing you can do on that.
Tough third ball. 4 pins fall in a strange order here. Simoneau, he gets that head pin, but look how the 8 pin has to be coerced down almost.
And he fills it with a 4.
Excuse me.
We were in replay land when he threw his first ball.
Maybe just as well, but still, this sleeve is getting maybe better, maybe worse. The 10-pin is not going to fall either. He's just going to really have to snap this 10-pin.
Snap, crackle, and pop. That's what you have to do.
That's the idea. Not enough force behind it, and the pin doesn't make it across to the left side.
Well, you had the snap.
Simoneau close.
You had the snap, but you didn't have the pop. Simoneau is at 47 after 4.
Yep. 2 mark 47.5. It's not bad. It's able to be built on. And he's mashed this head pin. Yes, that piece of wood gets over. 6, 9, 10. Chance for a 3-mark half here. Hume says a triangle as well. 2, 4, 5.
In the old days when Chris Cocchi was around, we used to call the triangle a Cocchi.
One of his specials, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I remember watching him in one of the Pro Series finals when it was televised on Candlepins for Kids, in fact. That was a Leda Lanes final where he was facing Dave Barber, one of the co-organizers.
Actually, I think that one was at Lanes and Games.
Lanes and Games, that's right. I was thinking Cambridge, and I said the wrong thing anyway. Lanes and Games, the former center in Cambridge. I went on its very last day. That's a tough one to see go, even if pins descending from the heavens was a wild trip. So no marks are either in the 5th, but Simoneau's 55 half a very solid one, and it brings up Chris Lafreniere again, and now John Winchell. I'll still get mileage out of this joke. The well-chronicled Exeter Lanes, still a pretty recent development, where Exeter Lanes in Exeter, New Hampshire, was featured on the flagship WMUR show, Chronicle. I believe that episode is available on their official page.
If you hadn't seen that segment, you really missed out. That was such a nice segment.
Unless you can find it now, of course.
I'm pretty sure you can find it on YouTube.
Just like a lot of our Candlepin Bowling Network things, nothing is really lost forever. It's in the cloud forever. Lafreniere 9.
So by the time I retire from bowling, I'll be able to watch all the old stuff that I used to do and think back on it. But I'm a long way away from that.
Long way from retirement? Good news.
Yep.
Lafreniere on the head pin. Get over 10. Yes, 4-7. And
decent wood there.
And a good string, a very robust pinner we saw in that first string. Winchell.
Winchell is a horseman.
Just going ball for him. That's handy for us, admittedly, even though bowlers don't have to. Spare on the 4-7.
Well, in a qualifier, you really don't have to go ball. I, however, and a lot of people always argue with me about this, why do we have to go ball for? We're not pros. And I'm like, it's part of the sportsmanship. It's part of the etiquette. If you do, it's the right thing to do. I don't care if you're a lead bowler. I don't care if you're a professional bowler.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're just doing it for the fun. Try to be ball with everybody.
Interesting. There are some who will make another argument and say, well, don't delay the tournament as well.
Oh, look at this.
Nice.
What a shot on. Wow.
Nice 8-pin tip over for a back-to-back spare for Lafreniere.
Now let's get a replay of that, Greg.
You bet.
Right.
We'll sneak it in now.
Look how he makes this. On the inside, bangs the 10-pin off the wall and takes out the 8. What a shot.
His fill is 7, and we see Winchell with a puzzle here. Can he get a ball deflection, perhaps? Nice red line, and that just sends the 2 pieces of wood completely the wrong way to the 10. Harsh to say. It was a good shot.
It was a good shot, right bit, but not where it should have been.
Wrong front pin. Not on the front pin, on the side saddle, but Lafreniere again has a chance to pin out.
Now, Greg, you know I bowl on Easter Sunday with Bob Lee.
April 20th this year, the Easter Classic, an annual 20-string tournament here at Leda Lanes.
So, you know I bowl with our boss, Bob Lee, and he and I usually jump in when we can Usually after I'm done, I usually jump in.
Spread eagle for Winchell.
I usually jump in and I help out whenever I can. But every year I bowl with Bob, we always help each other. We always pick each other up. I said to you last year, my average, my goal was to hit at least 80 for an average. Came close to it. Didn't happen, but I did come close. Oh, what a bit on a half Worcester.
Half Worcester taking out the 2-8 or the 3-9 on the first ball, so 2 quintessential candlepin leaves demonstrated here. I assume you'd get that history lesson if anyone went to Worcester Historical Museum, where their candlepin exhibit still has. I have not had the chance yet, but I had a calendar date to go and then didn't get the chance, but my birthday's coming up February 27th. Same as Mike Moore and Jeff Surrett, by the by. And that was, so maybe maybe I'll go then.
You just had to get that in there, didn't you?
Yeah. But I believe the exhibit is over soonish, I believe in March.
I haven't been yet. I'm actually on school vacation this week, so I might try and get up there. But it all depends. I mean, as a candlepin buff that I am, I probably should go.
I think it's a must. But for anyone in New England to really rediscover the forgotten cultural gem of New England. I mean, candlepin is to our friends in Canada as well, they're absolutely included in on this, but it is as New England as clam chowder. It really should be considered that way. And somewhere that got lost along the line, and that's why it's an absolute pleasure to bring all these broadcasts, to bring it back into the limelight like it should be.
A lot of people have asked me, do you think candlepin is making a comeback? It is in a way, but not. It's not going to have the glory days like it did.
And, that's okay, because there are a lot of entertainment choices as well, and I think it's awesome because you guys can be here. You could maybe be multitasking on another device. Hey, that's awesome, honestly. I think we should be able to maximize our enjoyments in life, shouldn't we? Check mark. 2-5. But yeah, everybody wants our attention these days, don't they?
Exactly.
And we're asking for it too, and we're so grateful to have each and every one of you here. Simoneau's third ball coming up, and he's got an 8-box here, 63 for through 6.
Now, here's one that I said before. Please like and subscribe to Candlepin Bowling Network for all your candlepin bowling needs. You can also find Candlepin Bowling Network on a few other platforms.
Facebook and YouTube.
Yep. You can also find Candlepin Bowling on YouTube. Other than just Candlepin Bowling Network, you have Mike Sweeney, who has done a lot of commentary on it.
Wolfman 12395.
And you also have Eric Jones, the mechanic out of Wamisit Links. He has some content.
Bowler forever.
Yep.
He lent Brunsnick the pins he used in a couple of candlepin challenges where he took on 10 pins with a candlepin ball and then big ball versus candlepins.
How did that one go? I really...
He did okay with it. He made a goofy spare. That's a clean spare made by Humes. Simoneau didn't make his 2-pinner. And now James on the board.
I've always wondered what would happen to a 10-pin ball if you threw it at a candlepin. Is it going to bounce back?
You can watch that on the Brunsnick channel. Eric Jones lent those candlepins. And then I forget if he loaned the balls as well or if he just got them from Epco or Paramount or the usual suspects, Paramount Industries. Nice Phil Humes. He's got an 8-drop and a plank right in front.
That's a gift from God with that plank. Simoneau breaks up the split.
Hallelujah.
Told you, gift from God.
Well, the bowling gods cooperate once in a while. Back-to-back spares for Humes.
Now, most recently, I believe it was, last Saturday, I think it was, with the Candlepins for Cancer live show.
Nice spare. 2-4-7 for Simoneau. He's got his third. Candlepins for Cancer, you were saying?
Yeah, it was the live show last Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's right, and it was out of Riverwalk Lanes. That featured one bowler going on a tear. He was some... Okay, it's Keith Beaupre, I could say at this point. I missed the Hume spare. I beg, no,
No, you didn't miss anything. Hughes has a 7-field 105. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
okay. I'm going to have to be much better about that. Excuse me. Simoneau's 5-fill here. Now he goes again, 3-6-10. My apologies. That is his third mark in a row. So a great recovery on the end. Another good count. And he ends up with 113. So for a struggle bus string, ending with 3 straight marks, that 113 can get him and Lafreniere going far. Top 24 men make it, so a 110s average, maybe mid to high 110s average. One would think that should be sufficient. We do consider the entire field, and even though the lanes are a bit sparse now, when it comes time for the second shift, that's going to fill up. And even though there were only a few dropouts this morning, there's going to be a lot in tough competition.
Which doesn't surprise me. I mean, yeah, I get that. For those of you who do not live in New England,
Tough to have that 4-pin fall. Go ahead.
There is a storm coming tonight. So I can understand that people want to go to the store, get their bread, and all that stuff.
Yeah. Thankfully, you only have to go to one qualifying shift then again. Second shift will be past 2 o'clock. I forget the exact time, but in any event, it'll start shortly after this one way or another. Oh, no, that's not where Lafreniere wanted this one. Wood wasn't a factor. He wanted to aim at that 3-pin. So we'll take 9.
Simoneau will take 9. 108 for Jay Simoneau.
107, in fact.
Oh. Well, I got it right here in front of me. I should have just looked. Jeez.
You're following along on the Cubica Scorer, which you folks can as well. Go to the YouTube description and pull down so that you can see all the scores as they are. Chris Lafreniere has the left 4 out. 4 horsemen, the 5 and the 9. Greg Gouillart alongside Kevin Burns here on Candlepin Bowling Network. Paul Grant, we've been trying to get that stream going. I'm hoping it's a little better.
I do have an update. I just heard from Nico about it.
Uh-huh.
He did reset it.
Uh-huh.
It's working. So we have coverage.
All right. Hopefully you folks have been enjoying that. That's on YouTube as well, Candlepin Bowling Network. John Winchell to start his second half. Get over 3-pin strike. I'll get this replay after this. See Lafreniere, he digs into that and he cuts through and he's got 5 pins. We'll take a quick peek here. Winchell with that cross lane delivery into the head pin, almost across the face of it, but thankfully that 3-pin trips out late. And there you see. Second ball Lafreniere.
Oh,
no. Off the wood. He's not playing the wood in that situation. He's trying to get on the right side of the head pin, have the pin carry him into the 7, and the ball deflect into the 6 and 10. Winchell strike Phil. Got his head pin skinny mini, and it's a bundle of 5. 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. Close. He's going to call that foul, so.
Bull's call.
Yep. So the 2 pins he knocked over on that third ball don't count. It's 6.
Can you do a replay on that?
No, I'm not going to replay foul calls.
Okay.
On that point, I'm going to be. You folks can as well. You can double tap the left side of your mobile, and you can go back if you want to have another look here. But instant replay is not in the International Candlepin Bowling Association rules, and I do not want to be in that position of second guessing. Did they really? Because as Winchell gets a 9 fill and a 9 box, because I don't want to put them in that position. Because people are very harsh on those who make the wrong call, and
we deal with it enough on Candlepin Chat.
And yeah, and there's a cynical argument that generating outrage generates interest, and outrage is the most profitable social media motion out there. I just don't believe that's a healthy way to exist in life.
I think I said this before, and I'll say it again. The ICBA really needs to do something, needs to there's a lot of gray areas with fouls, lobs, and stuff like that. There's so many gray areas that
Side saddle spare by Winchell.
Something really needs to be said about. And I really hope that the ICBA will look at all those rules. I mean,
the rule book has not had an update in a while.
It's time to update the rule book because there's a lot of people in my leagues especially are complaining that think that we should get an extra 2 balls if you fill a strike on the 10th box. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to.
What?
It's like.
Sorry, an extra 2 balls on the strike. You mean
if they fill a spare with the strike on the 10th box, they think, we get an extra 2. Doesn't work like that.
You throw 3 balls in the 10th no matter what.
Exactly.
That's the simplest way to explain it.
But in some people just don't have the gumption to know what's right and what's not right, if you know what I mean.
Well,
does that make sense to you?
Perhaps so, as Lafreniere gets a 10. He's been missing by inches as he gestured at one point. And as the candlepin community grows, there is something to be said that, there might be some that are less honest or less aware than others. So as a community grows, and you want to grow it sustainably, even though everyone wants to grow the game, I think, to a certain extent, to some degree, maybe there does have to be more of a standardization past a point if, say, the sport isn't automatically policing itself. And maybe I hope I'm getting to what you're talking about, Kevin, in that case.
You are, in a way, but you kind of, took a wide left turn, but...
Yeah.
Winchell just missed the spare, just missed the object. But I get what you're saying. I get what a lot of the guys are saying about Bull's call and stuff like that. Yeah, I agree with all
in the spirit of sportsmanship that, I think still persists in the candlepin community by and large.
I agree with all that. Trust me, I really do. But as Ben Wentz just said, the standardization is a big factor in making a game or sport legitimate, which he's right about. He's 110% right about it. But what candlepin needs, it needs a better rule book. It needs more clarification. Lob line judges were a thing. I know Mark Ritchie was the lob line judge at
Candlepins for Cancer, right.
So, do I think that the lob line judge needs to come back? Not for leagues, but maybe for tournament play. Yeah, I totally agree with that. But
yes. There is another question. By the way, both pairs got 215, simple as that. So about a 107 average on its own will probably be below where they want to be. But trying to make that top 24 cut, they still have time to build on that as Simoneau and Winchell and cycle round. And who do we get this time? We're going to get, I believe, Justin Cocchi and Luke Marvin. Justin Cocchi.
They're at 452 right now for 2 games.
And Luke Marvin out of Bogey Lanes in East Brookfield. He was the one who got video evidence of Aaron Fontaine's 236 single.
Okay, I think we put that debate to. I think that debate has been finally put to bed. Correct me if I'm
about
wrong.
how much it counts or whatever.
Exactly.
Which it did not set any sort of record because, of course, the Massachusetts single record is 245. It did set a house record, which, of course.
I've said this. Cocchi starts up with a. Wow, that pin moved out the spot a little bit.
I'm going to just screen cap that 9 drop in and of itself. Justin Cocchi throws a powerful ball. In fact, I don't think the speedometer knows how fast he threw it.
He averages on, I want to say his ball speed is about in the mid-20s.
Yep, I think the Scorpion Tail took that one. We're going to take another look at that, but he gets his spare to start. One of our stars of the Candlepins for Cancer ladder recently. Take another peek here. I think he gets the left side of this wood.
No, he went
right side.
He went right.
And the left side comes forward.
So anyway, So going back to what I was saying, just so I can put this debate to bed for the rest of the day until we see Fontaine, do I think his 200 counts? Yes. As a personal high single.
Right.
But I don't, but when Luke was filming that, they were kind of doing like a money match kind of thing. So that's why
it was just them, too.
Exactly, but there were, what a strike by.
Yeah, another mixer for Simoneau. We'll see.
And Cocchi hit the right.
Cocchi,
whatever. I know the kid for so long.
Yeah.
He actually pulls in my tournament. He went Brooklyn side. And it was a little light on the pocket, but he went Brooklyn. So anyway, do I think it counts? Yes, unfortunately. But Tommy also made a great point when Aaron finally told his grandfather about his high game. He said, "You may have one, but I have 7 200s under my belt." And you know what?
With that usual Tom Olsta smile on his face.
Of course.
Simoneau still filling the strike. He's got the 5-6-10. Doesn't even have the customary wood, and he'll fill 8.
Actually, I think that was the setback.
Yeah, it was a setback, although usually I'm used to the wood being in front of the 6-10. Ooh, that 7-pin drops. And there's the power of power for Cocchi.
Field goal.
Through the uprights, football season may have ended, but we're still kicking field goals.
All that I can say is, and I can thoroughly say this, I enjoyed that Super Bowl game last week.
That was a good one.
It was.
I mean, pretty much from start to finish. Cultural gem of a halftime show, and then a great game, maybe in my biased opinion, on a couple of counts, but that was a ton of fun to watch.
It was so one-sided, though.
Cocchi's doing some super bowling right now. 5-pin is not going to get over and nudges off spot. He fills 7. Simoneau cluster, 7-pin goes for his first spare of the string. Follow along with bowlers' totals and their strings across the entirety of Leda lanes by going to the Cubica Score, link in the YouTube description.
Take a look at this last comment. Wow.
Justin was trying to get a piece of that wood. I think the red line, so tough for his right-left ball to get that red line. Simoneau tips that 4-pin. Is it going to roll forwards as a result? Not with the red line, 7.
Justin Waters is on a double strike.
Of course he is.
You know, I don't know if you tune into the money matches that Justice Kelly and Bob Lee have been doing, but I was at that last one. Danny Harris and Justin just could not get anything going. He was a little light on that, but
Two-pinner doesn't go. Cocchi's spare is missed, but he still has a 2-mark half. Simoneau likewise a 62 half. Winchell's going to wait to get up with Cocchi. So that's that same thing. Are you really cutting off a bowler in that situation by waiting to go ball for ball? They will go bowler for bowler, but also there's an argument that the lanes aren't really attached.
They're not, unfortunately. You have to go by the ball rack. If you look at the ball rack.
We can see it, yep.
Okay. And I know the viewers at home can see the pins in the ball rack and where the bowls are. If you look at the ball rack, whoever is, and you have that separation like 29 and 28 have, technically the bowler on 28 will have the right of way if the bowler on 29 is not ready to go.
Yeah. Now, of course, some houses also have the bowling racks on the outside, and that's when it was in classic pinboy positions where they would be on the outside of the pair of lanes because that's how it would be most convenient for them back then.
Oh, exactly. I mean, look at Riverwalk. Riverwalk is set up the same way. Look at Harvard. Harvard is set up the same way. And believe it or not, Masons was set up like that as well.
I believe that. Old house out of Leominster, once upon a time. Good second ball, Marvin, no spare.
I miss that house. I wouldn't be here right now if that place was still open. I'd be working today. Today would have been my double.
Well, we are happy to have you now.
Well, no, it was tough when Masons was open because I couldn't do much of the live shows. I couldn't do much of this stuff, but I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm here.
Yeah. John Winchell must be happy with his place in the standings. He's currently 6th in Pro Series standings based on points awarded for high finishes in qualifying and deep runs in the playoff round. The singles elimination is where it's really – singles knockout, is where it's really going to get good.
Well, here's a picket fence for Luke Marvin. Parallel pins plus the 10.
What people call a picket fence depends where you are, I suppose.
I've actually made that shot that Luke has when I used to bowl out of Ryan's in Malden.
Proud of you. Yeah.
Made it clean.
I miss that Ryan's location. And the greatest pity is that even though it's not where it is right now, Malden has a gaming district, and Ryan's would have fit in perfectly, even though it's not really in that Pleasant Street downtown where it is now, Winchell 10, 18 through 2.
Luke is trying to get advice on this one.
Yeah.
If I were Luke, I'm just going to try.
And that's right. Some people call in 10-pin, what we call the Four Horsemen, they call the picket fence.
Yeah.
Which Jay Horrigan tried to make a thing on New England Candlepins, much to the chagrin of Richie Myrick and Dave Chestercove. Oh, Jay, I hope you're doing well. Hopefully the Franklin TV crew is doing well. I'm sad that the New England Candlepins tapings are still not out there, although I know what it's like to feel so bad that something is trapped in editing hell for the longest time. And it could just be a question of workload and resources. But hope to see that soon, because I know there's a couple of tournaments out of Ryan Family Amusements Millis that are still in the can.
Oh.
That was a nice effort there by Marvin, trying to shoot that wood off the wall. Yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10 is what I thought of as the picket fence.
No, that's just called the back row, and it's a pro shot and a half.
Well, some do though.
Yeah.
Marvin gets 10. I want to take a peek at this effort by him off the wall.
Oh, from
Lane 28.
Yeah, he went right out the wall. He just missed it.
The 8-pin went between the 4 and the 7, excuse me, and that's why it didn't work out.
Right idea, right off it, but not where it should have been played. But
seemed like a pretty good one to me. I think it just was unlucky how the wood went off the wall.
The wood just died as soon as it hit the wall. That's why.
You were watching string 3 of 5 here on Candlepin Bowling Network at the first shift of qualifying. Both shifts together will produce the top 24 men and top 6 women to advance to the singles knockout round later today. That'll start after those qualifiers are done, essentially, once all the scores are calculated.
Well, Brittany is getting her act together. She's at a 52.5. Amy Doobie's at a 55.5, working on Mark. Sherelle went big 20, spare on strike. Strike on spare. So she's at a 66. Faye Sawyer is still under with a 44.
You can watch women's coverage on Paul Grant's stream, also on Candlepin Bowling Network YouTube. Fingers crossed that's going well. We had some tech issues to start the day. Hopefully that's working out better now. I think my stream's also doing quite well too, which is awesome.
I'll reach out to Nico in a minute on that. Ali Barber and Lori are doing okay. The scores are pretty low, but who knows?
Marvin a little unlucky to leave that triangle at 5-pin. Almost got swept out. Still a good leave.
Okay, can I answer your question?
You can.
I want your honest opinion. The other night, I buried the pocket, and this is at Harvard.
Spare Marvin on the triangle.
I buried the pocket, and I leave the 5, the 7, the 6, 10.
Throw a better ball.
I knew you were going to say that.
Triangle off the wall for Marvin. You see it here. 2-pin rockets off the wall and hits the 4-pin.
And he fills it with a deuce.
Yeah. Gregory's too slow on that, though. I assume he didn't want us to see that. Half was the recovery. It's a good one, although no spare. But one more stick, he'll get to a 50 half and basically be on par at that point. And a 10 as the wood rolls in. The one head pin first, then the wood into the 7. 51 and a 45 half. We're hearing the pager beeps. Kegler's Den here at Leda Lanes.
Here's the $1 million question. Is Greg Gouillart going to get his mozzarella sticks?
$2 million question. Does he know how to say Gouillart?
Oh, there's a
3-1 split for Simoneau. It's like Slime Pirate. Gouillart. Or just say Greg G.
I'll just call you Gregory from now on.
Gregorius. I go by Gregory, sure. I say Greg to most people, but still.
Wow, pagers. Yeah, believe it or not, they don't run their food out.
Second ball, Cocchi.
Oh, nice bid. Nice bid. He just almost made that spread equal plus the
Yeah.
pin look easy. Yeah, of course, Waters makes another spectacular spare right next to him. Oh, what a shot.
That's a sweet 10 box by Cocchi. We are definitely going to have another look at that when we get a chance. Simoneau, 5 out.
Chuck, I can tell you in Candlepin and Grandma's Teeth, it's either the 7-8-10 or the 10-9-7, which is not easy to make.
Yeah, it's not a Motorola pager, Ben. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Simoneau's second ball, wayward. May have been an early release knowing his delivery.
Well, Justin's been on fire as of late.
He's fireballing it for sure. He wants probably one more mark to get into the 1-teens, but it's not a bad start to this string at all. 7 for Simoneau.
I was going to bowl in this tournament, too.
50-50 raffle tickets are going around. The other 50% to the winner, 50% to the prize fund for this tournament in-house, which does mean there is a hole there for a possible sponsor one day.
What a 10 by Cocchi.
Yep.
Came right back.
Hit it off the wall.
Came right back.
Cocchi.
He's a pain in my side.
It's a little different.
He's a pain in my side, but, I know what he's going through, so.
He is a wild card, isn't he? But
he is.
It was a real pleasure to have him on Candlepins for Cancer. Put on a great show, even though he only lasted the one match. Keith Beaupre, simply invincible, and you can check out all 4 matches here on Candlepin Bowling Network. Simoneau, a nice crack at that split. He ends up with a 10 box.
If I remember right, when you go up against Keith, and if you're not mentally ready, you have no shot against him. And I know what kind of bowler Keith is.
Yeah.
He is a good bowler.
Keith controls his destiny. That is a spare, I beg your pardon, on the side saddle triangle for Justin Cocchi.
Simoneau plows right through it, almost leaves an eagle.
Cocchi's fill. On the head pin, see ya. Strike on spare. And a nice crack at that one, 3-1 split. And watch that, pin setter just comes right up. And Cocchi is ready to fire.
And he doesn't wait. That's a bomb and a half.
Simoneau 10, 98 through 9. So suddenly gets not just the one mark he was looking for, but now a chance to go into the 120s. There you see it now. Box 10 for Simoneau. Having a fine string, one more mark, and it's a very respectable, solid string.
He is a house bowler, though.
Very familiar. He's been on Candlepins for Cancer ladders before as well. Cocchi.
Let's see what he does.
On a strike is Cocchi, and he massacres the pocket, but the 8-pin denies him the double.
And it's the same pin that denied Chris Sargent on Stars and Strikes at 200 string
Channel 50 show out of here.
against Sean Baker.
And that was a Candlepins for Cancer rematch we had the chance to do.
Yes.
This pin goes, and it's a spare on strike. Justin Cocchi takes another 20 out of the ATM, 129 plus. Like I said, any guy who throws into the 120s is going to be very happy. Ladies over yonder, they're looking for scores in the 100s to 110s. Unless you're Madison Riva and you just average north of 130 and set your personal best 10.
I'll get into that in a second.
Record-setting performance between her and Nick Leach to take top honors. And
I'll get into that in a second, but I just got to find her scores because her scores to equal what she did is nothing short of insane.
And we thought Danny Harris and Sonia Johnson had stolen the show in the first shift. They averaged north of 125 if memory serves.
Okay.
Cocchi Spareville in the 10th. Hits the head pin, and it is 8. And that's all. 137 for Justin Cocchi. I will give it another look here. 5 marks, 5 pins left standing.
Okay, so Maddie went 127, 132, 135, 128, 131, 141. Where the hell did this 98 come in?
Winchell just missing on that 1-1 split.
She went 98 on her 7th game. Then she comes running back with a 138, a 143, and I believe you covered the 140.
Oh, you have got to see the way Marvin just made this spare. Watch this. 4 horsemen, and he makes them completely out of order. Head pin, 10-6-3 from behind.
Wow.
That was wild.
And I believe you and Paul covered the 143 and the 149, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
we did. That was a fun ending. And I think the best part of it is that I know offhand that her husband, Evan Riva, was watching at Penny Lane Bar and Grill on the bar TV. And I think that is probably one of the greatest, my most favorite parts of doing Candlepin Bowling Network is providing this for bowlers and their families as well. It's just a memory for a lifetime. And it warmed the cockles of my heart, I suppose.
So between Madison and Nick, their first game, they went 240. Then they went 268, 251, 256, 261, 304, 229, 248, 274, and a 289 for a grand total of 2,620.
Only one of those numbers you recited was under 240, and I forget if that was the one where Madison was sub 100 as well, but
No, Madison was sub 100 when they went 229. I'm going to double check that.
her maiden name of Maddie Kelly is notable because, of course, Bob Kelly and Mary Ann Kelly, both Hall of Famers.
No, it was the 7th string. She was sub 100. So
Winchell 367 converts off the wall. That's a dandy. Another 710. Ho hum, Tyler. Take a look at this. This pin is going to come off the sidewall here. It's the 6 pin that takes it out.
nice bid. Nice shot. I mean, that's a pretty shot.
Yeah, nice bid. I suppose it's a subset of that, but
Yeah.
there we are. 710 will stay put. We'll just let Bullmore take care of this one.
Yep.
You were mentioning what's the greatest obstacle to the growth of Candlepin? The pin setters. Nobody makes them anymore. And we can't put them on strings because we play the live wood. That would result in a maddening amount of tangles. One Canadian house did try, and they quickly realized the error of their ways, and back when you could get free fall pin setters, they did. Marvin's got a great shot at this 10-pin. Winchell converts.
So going back to what you were saying about pins being on strings, have you ever been to the new Game Time up in Amesbury?
Sorry, I'm actually a box behind. I'm sorry. Marvin's on 10. No, I have not. That's an arcade, right?
It used to be Baldinelli's Bowlodrome. Then it was Leo's.
Right.
Oh, boy. You got to break out of that. He busted that up. So I was just there recently because one of my cousin's friends bowls out of there. And they have like maybe a handful of candlepin lanes. Their 10-pin side, okay, is all pins on strings.
310 converts for Marvin. Yeah,
And
a lot of bowlers do not like strings. Ben's mentioning it as well, and it does. They're trying to make it so that it is still competitive and skill is still required because there are some strings that are definitely, the pinfall is a bit janky, shall we say.
It is. I mean, you can't score. I mean, you're not going to throw a 300 game on that. There's no way.
Marvin may have felt the pressure to get done with his because this is the last pair of lanes. Sorry to give you whiplash with like the pace of play here. It ends up being the last one, so maybe he was rushed into taking that last shot. He takes 105, and we see it here. But, yeah, string pins. It seems as though with manufacturing being the way it is right now, we're not sure if we'll be able to have that solution in the future. And right now for Candlepin, it is an outright existential problem because of that. I have got to ask if that's a... I think he's live on Instagram. I'm going to check in on that. We'll take an audio timeout and be right back. Fourth string coming up. All right. By the way, Luke Marvin 54 is Luke's TikTok. Just type that in chat. Nico Pujar pointing out 158 third string. This is Justin Waters on lane 28, and he's got a split to start. Justin Cocchi, a 1, 7, 8, and 9. Justin Waters, member of the World Champion Academy Lanes team. You see that on the back of his shirt. Kevin, please explain how that 9-pin was missed. I'm in disbelief, too.
Oh, my God. That sure went. The ball touched it. The pin touched it, and it stayed up. Greg, do a replay on that one.
I'm sorry. I was a little busy in the weeds trying to update the scoreboard here, I'm afraid, but we will.
Oh, God, the ball went right in front of the pin. Oh, boy.
Waters starts with a 9 box. Here he goes, box 2. He's got a 3-1 split. Cocchi with his unfortunate 10.
High-low.
High-low. Some say high-low jack, but it was the high-low jackpot on many a TV show, including most notably Channel 5 WCVB with Don Gillis. Waters pops that 4-pin, made a distinct sound on his way down. Cocchi makes this one.
Give him a buck.
Made it without the wood. I think so, too.
Can we get a replay of that, see if he did make it?
Oh, yeah. I think that was woodless. You'll see here in a second.
Waters with another 8.
Yeah. Well, there was a plank in front of the 7. Question. So, okay, slightly assisted by the wood, although that was off the wall as well.
Okay, Justin Scally just brought up a good point. can't realistically have strings and candlepin. It
No
will
way.
change the game. And he is 1,000,000% right.
Exactly. You can't do strings, but apparently you can't do free fall either because nobody's making the machines right now. So we're about to get Shermaned, as Duckpin would say, or Bull-moored, I guess, in this case, since they were the last ones to do it. There was also the Bull Fast. There was an AMF 8295, or is that a 10-pin model? I forget.
Ben just said we're better off on going back to pin boys.
Pinboy, the hazards of the job.
There's an issue with that. You can break your knees when you have to go up and down to do all that. That's a no thank you for me.
Yeah.
As a mechanic in candlepin, no, I do not want to go back to pinboy. To the pinboy days. I went. It was stink.
It just wouldn't be practical, I don't think. But boy, it would be an employment boom if that's what we're after.
Well, look at this.
There was an extensive consult there, and I think that's more or less what Waters wanted to do, snap that pin across. But unfortunately, doesn't go. Cocchi's second ball on the head pin, but no. He'll take 10. You would have to be well armored though, or in a cage. Texas 9-pin is the only form of bowling I know where, Texas 9-pin and also Skittles and UK pubs in certain places use manual pin setting, because in Texas 9-pin you have to put the red pin dead center, because in that game the second best shot is getting them all down. The best shot is getting everything except center red down. A 12-ringer. Strike.
Well,
That's the best shot in this game. Justin Waters delivers.
Well, getting all the pins down is a good thing.
Exactly. Well, take another look here on replay. It's actually a crossover, but the 5-pin gets clipped out anyway and topples into the 4.
Now, Greg, I'm going to show you something. I don't know if you ever heard of this one. Have you ever heard of rubber duck pin?
That's the Quebecois take on it, if I recall correctly. It may be in Pennsylvania as well. I forget. But there are Quebec shows, and there was actually a comment as Cocchi gets stuck with a 7 on this one on his third ball, where it said, why do candlepin bowlers throw so fast? Well, in our game, the ball weighs less than the pin, so instead of rubber bands helping with the transfer of energy, you got to do that all yourself.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
So even though in some cases you get that deflection, that's really just the lucklessness of the ball deflecting away because Waters didn't get all the way into his pocket and he leaves that bundle of 5. He's still filling the strikes and wants to get back on it as Luke Marvin waits his turn. He'll actually go now as is his right. Fill is 8 for Waters in this. Luke Marvin on lane 29. 9-pin wants to, I thought.
Now, this might go. If he hits the cap left side, it'll my helicopter. Oh, what stopped that?
Replaying.
Yeah, please do, because something really stopped that. I don't know if it was the deadwood or not. Let's see him at the 10.
I'll have to wait for Danny Harris on this one, and Marvin takes 10 to begin.
Because I would love to
Danny
see
Harris, another member of the world champion team.
He's up there. Okay, let's see what stopped this. Because he played it on the cap like I thought he would. Yep, played the cap. Wow. For the life of me, I still don't know what stopped
Nice shot, Harris. He shows us how to make the 7-10, albeit with wood in the middle. Great shot.
Oh, comes back. Is it going to go? Nope.
Get over 5, you were hit.
Wow.
So the wood spins out in front of the 5-pin, and Marvin denied his spare. Harris, 9 drop of his own.
Let's not forget, it was on 27-26 last year in the Pro Series Finals. It wasn't the final, it was the playoffs, where Danny had that flip pin where the pin was flipping and it stood right back up.
Which is down by rule, but going back to ICBA rule ambiguity, it used to not be down. Somersaulting pins were expressly disallowed. Marvin, strike!
That's a slow action strike.
And
Danny
Harris as well. We'll see if it gets it both. He fills with 10. Let's see if we get them both. No, only got Marvin's pin fell late. And then Harris, kaboom box, as Drew Steele would say.
We're on the fourth game, right?
It's the fourth of 5. Marvin nearly doubles. Well, the sidewalls are lively, but unfortunately it creates a missing middle for Harris. Marvin gets the spare on strike. And the scores are flying now. 10 shuts him down, but the fill is 9 for Danny.
Well, Brittany has really woken up. She's out of 45 half.
Recent birthday girl.
Danny with a 9.
Yep, same 9 there.
67 after 4.
Danny's brother Chris used to bowl more actively. I hope he's well. Used to be on a team, used to be one of the members of what is now Team Hingham, formerly Union Street Lanes in Holbrook. Missed that place. 2-4-6 for Harris. Marvin for a 10 box. Missed it, gets a 9. So 5 fill and a 9 box. And he has a 63 2-mark half. Very good. Harris was the runner-up in the Pro Series playoffs, losing out only to Aaron St. Cyr.
Oh, he gave him a run too. Danny had him beat, but something just woke him up, and he just went nuts. And Justin with an 8 drop leads to 6-10. Good night.
Easy as that, 6-10 converted. As it brings up both Justins, as coincidence would have it, on our featured pair. 29 and 30 in this 36-lane center, Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Another shift coming up next. Here on this station. Waters to start his second half, 2-4-6. Cocchi's spare fill just on the left side.
He kind of held that one a little too long.
Waters misses on the second ball. Off the
skip
foul
ball.
line. Goodness. Just didn't drive through the 6-10. And Justin nearly collects the others. He'll get 9. Justin Cocchi, 10. Pro Series standings are available at the Candlepin Pro Series on Facebook. Dave Barber, one of the co-organizers, has posted a file with all the point standings. Points are awarded for high finishing in qualifying and in playoff runs. You can check it out, the Candlepin Pro Series. For a complete listing of links, at least to the best of my ability, go to the YouTube description, and there you can see where to find everything. Goodness gracious. I don't know how Cocchi managed to leave that, but we'll take a look at that in a second. Waters the 4 horsemen. Not head-to-head, we're just following qualifying matches right now. He's got the spare. Trying to figure out how Cocchi left this. I think his ball just went across the face of the head pin. And yes, it's just the angle of it. Crossovers leave kings, I say, maybe obnoxiously so, but we see the effective entry angle there. Justin Waters on a spare fill. He's into the head pin. Same thing, I think he went across the face of the head pin and he's left the 5 and the 10. But with wood there,
Did anybody ask for a spread eagle?
No one asked. No one wanted that.
1% of the time this shot goes.
Thank you, Bob Lee, for running the statistics. Nice spare. Well played on the wood by Waters. Close for Cocchi. I mean, it was a good bit at that, as best as you can in that situation anyway. Nice quality 10. His third 10 box of the string, 83 through 8. Leda Lanes, host of the men's internationals last year, will host the women's internationals coming up in August, if memory serves. I'll check in on that. Cocchi, the 1, 3, 8, 9, 10.
And I have a feeling it's me, you, and Paul doing that.
August 1st through 3rd. Well, I'll speak for myself. I know I want to. I'm in that time in my life where I'm just traveling to one wedding after another, I can tell, coming up. I'm like, all our friends are getting married, but I should have time. Should be able to take the time off and all that. It's tough. It's tough for the bowlers, too, to get the time off. Just about everyone makes a living otherwise.
That's going to be a tough week for me because that's like the week before I leave for my vacation.
Wicket snarled on Cocchi's second ball and doesn't make it to either the 8 or the 10. Waters pops the head pin this time for a 10. Cocchi, nice 10 as well with the wood. Third straight 10. He's had all the pins in this half. So even though he's at 93 right now, it's the follow-ups and the spares that set him back.
He's at a 100 even. He's done.
Excuse me.
Yeah, 100 even.
Your boy missed a box.
Hold on. Because he was at 81, 91.
Yep, that's it. Just forgot to make an entry somewhere along the line. This is correct as you see it here. Luke Marvin. 6 pin. Has a plank in front of it anyway. He's got a good string working right now. Waters a chance to go into the 120s here if he can get this 3-6. His try. Got it. For his 4th mark. 1 strike and 3 spares. That's quintessential candlepin right there. Marvin cannot believe that got away from him.
The whole PG special there.
Yep. Denied Paula's royalty money. Waters will fill in the 10th. He got the head pin. Well, he'll have his 120 string somehow. The fill is 6 on the head pin. 122. So 1 strike, 3 spares, and 6 pins left standing. I think that is about as cookie cutter a professional string as you can get there looking at Waters. That's like solid pro bowling there, as Marvin will have to wait for his lane to reset. Actually, that's not a breakdown. That is...
Oh, it happens from time to time.
So that's actually how it indicates that it's resetting, as opposed to a big red light, which most centers have. Marvin, there's that 6 pin again. This time with no wood. Harris converts the 10 pin for a spare. So the pin setter just brings the arm down to remind you that it's working.
Oh my God.
No.
3 straight misses on a 6.
Well, he needs your energy right now, so please go to Luke Marvin 54 on TikTok. Be nice about it, folks.
Yeah, please do.
And he's got a good string working. He could have been in the 120s right now, but you know he can, so root him on. He's on TikTok, Luke Marvin 54. Yes, in case you didn't hear, TikTok is legal. It's even on the App Store again. You can download it if you've missed your chance as well.
Oh, how about this one? This time he doesn't lead the 6 pin.
Frankly, I would probably use a burner account to register on TikTok. I'm a little wary, but on the other hand, it is a very useful platform and a great way for bowlers to connect, including with thousands and even at times tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, honestly. As Tony Levesque can attest to, Tony the Magic Man on TikTok with _separation. 4 fill and a 10 box for Harris. And Marvin converts for a 10 of his own. 91. You can see the difference between the Z4 pin setter and the normal pin setter. Z4
These are the Ds.
Oh, they are?
Yep, these are the Ds. These are the kind of machine I had at Mason's.
3-pin, interesting. That's a little off spot for Marvin. I thought it was that plastic 3D printed thing that the former Candlepin Sales did once upon a time. Spare Harris on the bundle of 5. We'll look again. Marvin denied by the 10-pin. That's a rough one.
Oh, there's a Starlight Good Night.
Starlight 5 in reference to the former East Boston Bowling Center. Marvin takes 9.
Danny Harris is going to go into the 140s, maybe 150s.
Even if he botches the fill, he can still pin out 130.
Yeah.
Marvin's final frame. Horseman and an outpost. I call it the outpost anyway. Trying to differentiate between what's a pet leave name here on Candlepin Bowling Network and what's a well-established one like the ones used on Channel 5. This one does not have a name. The 2, 7, 8, and 10. 2, 7, 10 is called a cocked hat in some forms of bowling. Milady.
A half was just standing and a 7-10 split for Danny Harris.
Good pinning.
Right on the cap.
Yep, good pinning from Marvin. So he escapes with 110, even though he would have rather had a lot more. He knows he can, including in this final string.
Okay, he just made the Christmas tree, which is the 2, 7, 10.
That's what you call it?
No, that's its actual name.
It's the holiday season. Oh, no, it's not. 126 through 9. Great string for Danny so far. Already, no matter what.
They're at 905 total.
So you can see why that pair on the left is a championship caliber team. Harris, head pin, spread eagle. We'll take a look at the full scores here as Harris works on that to try and get himself up to 130s. Shocking result for him and Justin Waters in the Central 3 team, washed out by Exeter 8-0. And now Team Exeter, captained by Dave Barber, suddenly within 1 point in the Friday Night Pro League standings.
I thought they would be in first place after taking lead from Central.
They were 9 back, now they're 1 back. Harris, perfect pinning, that's 10, and he is 136. Partnership total, 258. That's Riva and Leach level, I would say. 211, and we'll just keep it running here because the next string is about to begin. Just a box or two left on everyone's lane, so we'll take this away and reset.
And believe it or not, everybody's starting to trickle in for the next shift.
How's it going out there, everyone? We are keeping an eye on chat, even with all the information going back and forth. Remember, you can follow along on the YouTube. YouTube description tells you how to follow along with all the scores and all the standings as well. You can go to Cubica to follow along with other scores. You can go to the Candlepin Pro Series to have the latest on the point totals and see where everyone stands. Danny Harris currently in second place, I really should have mentioned, behind only Josh Daly. I hope my sarcasm when I mentioned it's Josh Daly again is clear, because what he has done for Candlepin, he now has a literal following. There are people who will very nicely follow Josh around to all the matches and, truly root him on. And that's really one of my favorite things about Candlepin, is that if you are truly respectful to the bowlers, they will be respectful back to you. And that's why I enjoy the community so much, because there is just that respect that's fostered, and anyone from just about any background can take part. Candlepin simultaneously one of the most accessible games, and yet one of the tightest skill curves. Only the best of the best are routinely successful, like you saw with Harrison Waters. We ballyhoo all the time. Oh, why won't the pins give it to him? Why won't the pins do this or that? And yet you see them, even though I think neither of them had the best string by their standards, still getting 120s each. So they find a way. And with enough devotion, I think more people than even they might think, more folks than they think, than those folks would think. That's what I'm trying to say. Could give it a good go. Cam Green I'm not as familiar with, I confess. I'll have to ask him about his bowling background. Andrew Therrien, on the other hand, is another one out of Western Mass that we're more familiar with. He was the one who got his heart broken as we start this fifth string of 5 by Mark Smith during Candlepin Skins. He was in the 390s, but when Mark Smith threw, that was his double-double. He threw 2 pairs of strikes. Andrew Therrien's 390-plus was no good, and he did not advance to the Skins finals. We'll see Cam Green first, but here's Justin Waters on lane 29. Off the foul line, followed a bouncing ball, 2-4-6.
I remember calling that Mark Smith missed, if I remember right, the triple by 1 pin.
It would have been a triple-double at that point.
Yeah.
Waters,
Oh, what a
nice.
shot.
2-4-6, Justin Waters. Nothing is impossible with this man. Green trying to get anything into the 7-pin, doesn't go. We'll watch Waters again. Left side of the 2-pin. Yeah, Kevin?
That's just sick.
An amazing shot. Green pins out 10.
In a 9-pin tournament, I would not want to go up against Justin Waters.
9-pin referring to a variant where 9 pins is credited for 10, be it for a strike, spare, or 10.
How about a setback?
We featured, a piece of wood that does nobody any good. I remember Blake Doucette made a shot here at Leda, but he was really close to the channel. Blake Doucette, part of last champion, A-plus accounting, and Waters tried to do something similar. Green, 5-pin. Green is in the blue shirt. Spare for, no, excuse me, that's 10. That's 10.
And Waters with a 10, Green with a 9.
No, that's a missed spare, actually, on this one.
Oh.
Single pins. Those are the most gettable ones, or all the bad cards are dealt. We've got some concurrent streams going here. In fact, I think either Andrew or Cam also has TikTok presence going as well. Now, mind you, this will be the final qualifying string, but if any of them make it, we'll see there.
Oh, what a bomb. Bombs away.
I'll replay this once we get a look at Green's shot here. He gets a 9 on the second box and takes away 3. All right. Quickly does it.
No, that was a one shot.
On a strike, Waters. Head pin. Doesn't get the 7-pin. Cam Green can't get his spare, even though that was a good second ball. Is that 2-pin going to get over at least? Goodness. Nothing rolling into the 7, even though I shouldn't have ruled it out that soon. Greg Gouillart alongside Kevin Burns here on Candlepin Bowling Network. The Candlepin Pro Series, this final qualifying string in this shift. But another 5-stringer coming up in just a moment with a whole new cast of characters, complete roster on Candlepin Bowling Network Facebook and the Candlepin Pro Series Facebook.
And if you want to watch our Ladies Bowl, they are on Paul Grant is covering them on the other side. Also on Candlepin Bowling Network.
On YouTube, look at this shot. Cam Green. We're going to see that one in a second. Waters gets the 10-pin to no, I won't. We'll watch a 10-pin and everything else fall as well as Cam Green, blink and you miss it, this just evaporates. 4-pin last. 6-10 for a spare. It's good. Justin Waters 60 and a ball at the half.
That is very Waters-like.
So Danny Harris will get up now. Cam Green on a strike fill. Great way to supercharge a string. Had that one single pin miss. His chance. Got his head pin again. And it's 4-6. Western Mass probably one of the greatest shortages of coverage there. I remember calling Nick Michalski's thrilling victory over Matt Susi in that one-string special knockout match.
What did you give Waters?
Multitasking. Yeah, no human can truly multitask. That's the problem. Nice spare. Let's give credit where credit is due. Danny Harris starting spare. Yeah, Nick Machowski with a 1-pin win over Matt Susi to make the Skins semifinals at Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire.
I remember that.
I remember having terrible laryngitis, but I hope the call did it justice anyway. Harris, good, broke up the split.
Okay, here's an update from Nico, and I'm going to read these real quick. At the 4 strings, Amy and Brittany have 849, Sherelle and Faye Sawyer 735, and Allie and Lori at 761.
That's just through the first shift.
And thank you, Nico, for that. Nico is following more on Paul's string than us. So
Nico, rightly so, always wants to make sure the women get their due, and that's a spread eagle. Speaking of not getting your due, on the men's side of things, Danny Harris. Andrew Therrien, yes, that is same arm, same foot. He's got 1-3-6-7-9. Probably one of the most powerful bowlers off the so-called wrong foot.
A lot of people, I say this every time we see him bowl. I don't know how he can do that without not throwing the ball into the off of his leg as he's sliding. I don't know how. I just can't figure that out.
Well, he's one of the most powerful to do it. I mean, asking another bowler who does that, Ashley Breton, she mentions, I think she mentioned on Ripping the Rack podcast, in fact, I just don't know how to do it differently at this point. It's just, I've tried doing it the quote-unquote right way, but like any bowler, you just develop your own routine, your own maybe ruts and foibles in it, and yet whatever works, works. Therrien's crumbling the 3 and 9, and he's got the 10-pin. So does Harris. Spare. Just the mechanic routine with these single pins is what's seeing Harris and Waters off to a strong start again. Therrien's got his. The man we saw go 390 plus in Skins. Having a fine start here. Harris, another 19 box. And Wood sits in front. And it's a 69 half. Plus 1. 110s or 120s. He's well on pace. Therrien spare fill. 5. Justin Waters now up on lane 29. 7 marks in the 10 combined for Harris and Waters. Andrew needs an out. Waters half Worcester on this one. Bit of a setback here, so to speak. Justin Waters is currently 12th place in the Pro Series standings. He did quite well in Augusta. Coming in 4th place there behind only Nick Leach in 3rd, Danny Harris 2nd, and Dave Barber in 1st.
Dave Barber with that monstrous 168 string.
He nearly set a house high 5 there. Waters gets out of the half Worcester with a 9 box, 71 through 6. Andrew Therrien, 5 and 9. And it's good. Second spare, another solid go here, the 6 box. And another strike, Justin Waters. 4 marks now. We could take a quick peek at that one before Therrien throws again. Have a gander here. Again, the kingpin having to be swept out, but his ball just works that well. 4 horsemen, 4-7 for Therrien. Phil is 4. Ooh,
oh,
yes!
it's a double!
It's a double strike for Justin Waters. Waiting for Therrien to throw. The pin setter cannot keep up. That's the thing. It's waiting for pins to reset, so it won't cycle the table until then. Nice out there with the 8. And nice hammer here. 5-pin takes its sweet time into the 6. And there's the outcome. Now.
3 in the first one.
So you see it there. 13 updates is the fill. 94 through 7 is still a great go of it. He's working another strike. Cam Green had a monster strike in the 4th. Waters, good sticks, no head pin. Who needs the head pin? 3-pin and the 6-pin, so it becomes the high-low for Cam Green. $10. Waters 123 through 9. Ho hum. The champ is back. Green left with a 1 and 7 on the 3rd ball. Last string of this string. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Like and follow on Facebook so you're in the know about the tournament information that we can't post here. But also subscribe on YouTube so that you're in the know about future streams, because this one will be coming to an end, but another one will be starting soon with the qualifiers to come. Those totals I can hardly see from here, Kevin, but we're going to want to see that, especially for Waters and Harris. They are mind-numbing. Spare missed for Waters, so he'll have to settle for something in the 130s, ho-hum.
Total pinfall as of right now.
So Justin Waters ends up with an 8-box, 131.
1245 as of right now, but Harris is still working on a mark.
So they could go over 1,300 if I'm understanding that correctly.
Exactly.
Cam Green narrowly misses the 3-5-10 splits, then converts for a 10-box.
Oh, Danny Harris with a strike on spear.
Incredible. He's just still going at it. 7-8. We take a peek. Harris, 1-2 pocket. Just like that. We see his first ball there, 1-3-7-8-10. Green picking pins at this tough split. Needs more. And he's going to be luckless here. Well,
not really. I mean, he gave her a ride.
He is unlucky, but he's too good. Just the kinetic motion of that pin generates an 8 count for Harris. And it's just those little bit of extras that puts him and Waters into a league of their own. Now he's going wood. He's got the 10. It's a clever shot. Can't go in the gutter to get that one, of course, even though that wouldn't have been best anyway. Green, 8-pin, solid 8. He's on 83 through 8. Harris, just the 4 horsemen this time. Cam's got this one in the face. Spare in the 9th. So his second mark. Harris throwing left to right, doesn't like the 4 horsemen right, at least I wouldn't expect he would. Opposite the angle of his ball. 10-box, because if he has the 1-2 pocket on the other hand, that's Danny's sweet spot. 117 through 9 with 1 strike and 4 spares and only the 3 pins left standing. I've put the 9-box in the wrong spot. That's what I've done. That's better.
Danny with another 8 drop. He's at 125.
Yep, 3 and 6. Raise your microphone, please. Green gets the spare. Nice 7-pin pickup after the 3 drop.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Let's look at this.
I'm sorry, I've got the 7-pin one in the queue here. I'm sorry to say. He does convert the 10 here, and the 5-pin gets swept out.
I wish you could replay that.
So sorry, my friend.
He hit the wood, and it went right between both pins.
Get over 5-pin. Goodness gracious. But the fill is 9 for green, and we'll see it properly here. His string is 115. Great finish on the end. Harris, meanwhile, can go 140 if he gets this triangle number 5. He does. Even went across the face of it, but it clips the 8-pin as well. 137 plus, topping his partner's 131. Andrew Therrien now 4, 6, and 7. Having top follow-ups after his 2 marks. Harris, goodness gracious. Well, I thought we had some 5-pin bowlers in the chat. You're welcome. You can shoot this one. Danny will not. 142.
That's a good place for that leaf. Unfortunately, that is a good place for that leaf.
One of my favorite Danny Harris moments was in the Pro Series when the playoffs were held at Exeter, like they will be again this year. And when he had lost his match hopelessly, he left the back row of pins, the 7, 8, 9, 10, the picket fence, and
one of the picket fences.
And and at that point, he just hit the button and walked away. It was over at that point, so there was no average in the league to calculate at that point. It was all over, so he left.
I don't blame him.
No high average pool to work towards, I don't think, in that case. I believe there are some pools in effect for high single and high average in effect for this tournament, but I'm not 100% sure. What I do know is that the top 24 men will advance to the knockout, and the top 6 women, not TBA as the description says, will advance to the knockout tournament in a moment. That's top pairs, indeed. It's so tough to bowl by your lonesome. You can't bowl alone. That was the original title of a Boston Magazine article quoting Chuck Vozella to Billy Mulvaney. That was it was a really nice slice of life article, as Boston Magazine is wont to do. But it goes by a different title other than You Can't Bowl Alone. When possible, there should be a pair of bowlers up on each lane. That's the original intent of the pace of play rules. And as long as you're not cutting a bowler off, it's called right of way, not left of way. You should be having someone bowling at all times. That's the original intent. And whether ball for ball jives with that is another debate. Therrien still with 2 boxes to go, still just as essential. Taking a look here. His partner, Cam Green, finishes with 619. Andrew can pin out 541, as I understand. That's pretty good going. We may see them again later. We'll confirm the cut, of course, once we know it. So another stream will be coming up after this one, so please subscribe and hit the bell icon on YouTube. At least hit the bell icon for today so that you're always in the know when we go live. It'll be here, Candlepin Bowling Network YouTube, and we'll get started with that in just a moment. 8 boxes remains for Therrien. Every pin's still critical, even though the energy is, everyone's moved on. But still a mark here. Get that 100, still a mark here. Get yourself maybe into the 540s. That still could qualify, especially when your partner's north of 600. Cam Green, the 115 here. And we can see flashes of why he was so influential to his partnership. Half Worcester right side. The Western Mass bowler. Down the gap again. If as dear as Becky Halbedell is watching, a special hello to you as well. She was one of the stars of the old Candlepin New Gen shows. So a 5, unfortunately, sticks him with 89. You see those final scores here. And folks, once again, to make it clear, we will end this stream but start another one up basically right away. I'm going to change the description, get it right back online for you folks, and we will be live with that in just a moment on the starting soon screen. So please be on the look on that Candlepin Bowling Network on YouTube. We'll go live in just a moment. For now, alongside Kevin Burns, my name is Greg Gouillart. Thank you very much for watching this Candlepin Bowling Network presentation. See you soon. So long for now.